Never break these 9 rules when camping in Skinwalker territory. Part 1. The Man with the Rules. The idea to camp in Dark Hollow Forest came from Kyle, and like all of Kyle's ideas, it was dumb, reckless, and probably illegal. But it was also impossible to resist. The forest had a reputation for being haunted, cursed, or something worse. Every year, a few hikers vanished without a trace. Locals spoke in hushed voices about creatures that roamed between the trees, things older than time and hungry for the living. It was exactly the kind of thrill we craved. Me, Kyle, Jordan, and Natalie. 4 idiots with a thirst for adrenaline and 0 survival instincts. We packed up the car with tents, beer, marshmallows, and a single half-dead flashlight. The sun was already dipping low by the time we reached the forest's edge. The narrow dirt road was framed by towering skeletal trees. Their bare branches clawed at the sky like the twisted fingers of a corpse. I swear, if some cannibal hillbillies eat us out here, I'm haunting your ass, Natalie joked, slugging Kyle on the arm. Kyle grinned, pulling out his phone to record. Come on, this is gonna be epic. Night in Skinwalker territory. 10,000 views, easy. That was the first mistake. We hadn't even pitched our tents when we saw him. An old man. He appeared from between the trees without a sound. No footsteps, no rustling leaves. Just there. His face was lined with deep, sweep spots of blood. Craggy wrinkles, his eyes pale and unblinking, and his skin clung to his bones like old parchment. He wore a tattered coat and carried a lantern that gave off a flickering, sickly yellow light. We froze. The old man lifted a finger to his lips. If you intend to stay here tonight, he rasped, you'll need to follow the rules. None of us spoke. Kyle lowered his phone. The old man reached into his coat and pulled out a scrap of crumpled paper, thrusting it toward me. I took it before I realized I was moving. There were 9 rules written in messy, scrawled handwriting. The 9 rules. 1. Never call out your friends' names after dark, even if you hear them screaming. 2. Don't leave the circle of light from your fire, not for any reason. 3. If something knocks on your tent at night, don't respond. 4. Never follow voices into the woods. 5. If you see yourself standing outside your tent, close your eyes and don't open them until sunrise. 6. Don't touch the stones arranged in a circle near the old oak tree. 7. If an animal approaches and speaks to you, don't answer. 8. If you hear a child crying in the woods, it's not a child. 9. When you pack to leave in the morning, count your friends carefully. If someone is missing, don't look for them. I read them aloud, my voice cracking around the words. Kyle laughed. Dude, you seriously expect us to believe this? The old man didn't react. His milky eyes never left me. Break them, and it won't be you who leaves the forest come dawn, he said. And then he was gone. No footsteps, no rustle, just gone. For a long moment, none of us spoke. That was messed up, Natalie whispered. Jordan shook his head. Old loon trying to scare kids. Let's get the fire going. Kyle clapped his hands. Hell yeah. Rule number 1, party till you puke. We pitched our tents in a small clearing, built a fire, and opened the first beers. The darkness pressed in around us like a living thing. Every flicker of shadow seemed to crawl, and the old man's words gnawed at my mind. I kept the paper in my pocket. By midnight, the jokes were stale, and the forest was deathly still. No owls, no crickets, just the crackle of the fire. That was when we heard it. A voice in the trees. Ethan! My blood turned to ice. It was Natalie's voice. Except Natalie was sitting beside me, holding a can of beer. She heard it too. Her face drained of color. Who? She whispered. Kyle grinned, oblivious. Damn good impression, Nat. It wasn't her. I pulled out the crumpled paper, heart pounding. Rule number 1, never call out your friends' names after dark. Even if you hear them screaming. The voice called again. Ethan, help me! It sounded exactly like Natalie. The same pitch, same tone. But now it was coming from deeper in the woods. We should go check, Jordan said. No, I snapped. Nobody moves, nobody calls out. Kyle raised an eyebrow. Dude, are you serious? It's rule 1. Natalie clutched my arm. She'd gone pale. I don't like this. Neither did I. The voice kept calling. Closer now. Ethan. We huddled by the fire, and none of us slept. Not that night. Part 2. Voices in the night. The night dragged on like a slow, creeping nightmare. None of us spoke much after that first voice. The fire was our only protection against the suffocating darkness pressing in from all sides. Every snap of a branch or rustle of leaves sent a jolt through our nerves. The voice had stopped an hour ago, but the silence it left behind was worse. Kyle tried to keep the mood up, forcing jokes no one laughed at. Natalie sat with her knees pulled to her chest, staring at the fire like it was the last thing keeping her sane. Jordan kept glancing toward the trees, a flashlight gripped tight in his hand. I clutched the old man's list of rules like a lifeline. Then, a knock. Tap, tap, tap on the side of Kyle's tent. We all froze. 3 soft knocks. No one moved. No one even breathed. Jordan's voice was a whisper. Did you guys hear that? Another knock. Tap, tap, tap. Kyle chuckled nervously, trying to play it off. Probably a raccoon or something. But his voice was too high. He didn't believe it. I grabbed the paper again. Rule number 3. If something knocks on your tent at night, don't respond. I held up the rule silently for the others to see. Natalie whimpered, clapping a hand over her mouth. Kyle swallowed hard. Tap, tap. But now, it wasn't just on Kyle's tent. Another knock came from Jordan's tent. Then mine. And then, from the far side of the clearing, a soft, wet, shuffling sound. It moved unnaturally, like something dragging itself across the ground. I could feel it, even though I couldn't see it. Jordan's flashlight flicked toward the sound. Nothing. Just shadows. "I'm done, man!" Kyle hissed. "We should get the hell out of here." "Not till sunrise," I said, my voice shaking. "We leave now, we won't make it." Natalie gripped my arm. "Ethan, it's getting closer." She was right. The knock stopped, but the dragging sound came steadily closer, circling the fire. Whatever it was stayed just beyond the light, where our eyes couldn't quite make out its shape. Then a voice, but not from the woods, from within our circle. "Ethan." I turned. It was me, standing there, an exact copy. Same face, same jacket, same terrified expression. It grinned. My stomach turned cold. The rules. I yanked out the paper. Rule number 5. If you see yourself standing outside your tent, close your eyes and don't open them until sunrise. "Close your eyes," I shouted. "What?" Jordan yelled. "Do it now!" Natalie clamped her eyes shut instantly. I squeezed mine closed, hearing Kyle curse but obey. I could feel its gaze on me, like ice running over my skin. Footsteps, soft, crunching the dead leaves. Then, a voice right by my ear. "Open your eyes, Ethan." I clenched my jaw so hard it hurt. Another voice, sweet and high, whispered, "Don't you want to see who I am?" I fought every instinct to look. Then something wet and cold brushed my cheek. I wanted to scream. A low, guttural growl filled the clearing. It circled us, the growling turning to laughter. More footsteps, more voices. They mimicked Natalie, Kyle, Jordan, even my dead mother's voice. But we didn't open our eyes. Not until the first faint glow of dawn crept over the horizon. When I finally opened my eyes. The fire was down to smoldering embers. The forest looked normal again. Except for one thing. Kyle was gone. His tent was zipped up, his stuff still inside, but no sign of him. Jordan cursed. "Where the hell is Kyle?" We called his name, forgetting the rules in our panic. No answer. Natalie was already sobbing, clinging to my arm. I pulled out the paper. Rule number 9. When you pack to leave in the morning, count your friends carefully. If someone is missing, don't look for them. My throat tightened. We can't look for him. "What the hell are you talking about?" Jordan snapped. "We can't just leave him. If we go after him, we'll never come back." The rules hadn't lied so far. Natalie nodded through her tears. Jordan paced, but he knew I was right. We packed up camp as fast as we could. And then, a voice. "Kyle's. Guys, where are you going?" From the trees. We turned. There he was, or something that looked like him. Same hoodie, same smirk. But his eyes, they were too dark, too empty, like twin pits of midnight. He stepped forward. I raised the paper. "You're not him." The thing that looked like Kyle smiled wider. "You sure about that?" It took another step, and another. Natalie screamed. We ran. We didn't look back. Part 3. Never count the voices. We didn't stop running until our lungs burned and our legs turned to rubber. The morning light was thin and cold, filtering weakly through the trees. I kept glancing over my shoulder, expecting that thing, the thing wearing Kyle's face, to burst through the underbrush after us. But it never came. After what felt like miles, we collapsed in a small clearing, surrounded by ancient, crooked trees. The air smelled like damp earth and moss. None of us spoke for a long time. Natalie was pale, shivering uncontrollably. Jordan's face was tight, his jaw clenched. I pulled out the wrinkled, sweat-stained paper. We can't keep running blindly. We have to follow the last few rules if we want to make it out of here. Jordan shook his head. "I'm done with your damn rules, man. Kyle's out there. We left him behind." That wasn't Kyle. "You don't know that." "I do!" I snapped, holding up the paper. "Look at everything that's happened. The knocks, the voices, the copy of me. The list was right every time." Jordan was breathing hard, fists clenched. For a second, I thought he might hit me. But then he dropped his gaze. "Fine, what's next?" I uncrumpled the list. Rule number 6. Never count how many voices you hear calling your name. I read it aloud. Jordan scoffed. "What kind of rule is that?" "I don't know, but we follow it, no matter what." That's when we heard it. A voice from somewhere behind us. "Jordan." We all froze. Then another voice. "Ethan." Soft, almost melodic, but wrong. The words were human. The sound was not. Then another. "Natalie." Then again. "Ethan." "Jordan." Natalie whimpered, hands clamped over her ears. "Make it stop! Make it stop!" Jordan gritted his teeth. I shouted over the noise. "Don't count them! No matter what!" The voices multiplied, twisting, slithering around us like invisible snakes. "Ethan." "Jordan." "Natalie." "Ethan." "Ethan." I squeezed my eyes shut. Natalie sobbed. Jordan cursed under his breath. Minutes passed, or hours. The voices never stopped. They grew louder, crashing like waves. At one point, one was so close it felt like icy breath on my neck. "Ethan." But I didn't count them. None of us did. And then, as quickly as it started, silence. I opened my eyes. The woods were still. The sun had risen a little higher, weak rays cutting through the fog. We were alone. Or so I thought. A figure stood at the tree line. An old woman. Skin like cracked leather. Long, stringy gray hair. Eyes milky white. She wore a tattered dress stained with mud and something darker. She smiled, revealing black, broken teeth. I grabbed the paper. Rule number 7. If you see the crone at dawn, don't speak. Don't move. Don't blink. I hissed it at the others. Don't move. Don't talk. Don't blink. Jordan was about to say something. I shot him a glare, so sharp it cut him off. We stood like statues. The crone stepped closer. Her movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet tugged by unseen strings. A low, wet croak escaped her throat. Her gaze swept over us. I could feel my eyelids twitch, desperate to blink, but I didn't. She crept to within inches of my face. Her stench was unbearable. Rot, dirt, and old blood. She grinned. "You're smart," she rasped. But no. 1 second she stood there. The next, the space was empty. The air felt lighter. Jordan exhaled shakily. "What the hell was that?" I didn't answer. I just checked the paper. Only 2 rules left. Rule number 8. Before you leave the forest, one of you must stay behind. Rule number 9. If no one volunteers, the forest will choose. I read it aloud. Natalie's face crumbled. No, we can't do that." Jordan looked sick. "There's gotta be another way." "There's not," I said. "It's either we decide, or this place does." And we all knew what that meant. The thing wearing Kyle's face, the voices, the crone. Whatever the forest chose for you, it was worse than death. We sat in a circle, the paper between us. Part 4. The one who stays behind. The silence between us was thick enough to choke on. No one wanted to speak. I held the wrinkled paper like it was a loaded gun. Its words burned into my brain. Rule number 8. Before you leave the forest, one of you must stay behind. Rule number 9. If no one volunteers, the forest will choose. Natalie had tears streaming down her face. Jordan sat stiffly, jaw clenched, staring at the dirt like it might offer a way out. I swallowed hard. We don't have a choice. We vote. No. Natalie's voice was barely a whisper, but it carried enough weight to feel like a slap. We're not leaving anyone behind. If we don't choose, I said softly, the forest will pick one of us. You saw what it did to Kyle. You heard those voices. Jordan spoke up, his voice raw. How do we even know it'll let the rest go? This could all be bullshit. I shook my head. The rules haven't been wrong yet. Another long silence. I could hear the trees creaking overhead And somewhere in the distance, the faintest sound of something moving. A low, guttural growl. I closed my eyes and took a breath. Write the names down. No talking, just do it. I tore a piece of the paper's corner and handed them out with a stub of pencil I kept in my pack. Jordan hesitated, but took his. Natalie's hands shook so hard, she almost dropped hers. We scribbled names in silence. I folded mine up. Jordan folded his. Natalie did too. I gathered them in my palm. They felt heavier than they should have. 3 pieces, 3 fates. I opened the first. Jordan. I opened the second. Jordan. He didn't react, just stared ahead, his lips pressed in a thin, bloodless line. The third. I didn't need to open it. I could already guess. But my fingers moved anyway. Jordan. He let out a long, shaky breath. I figured, he muttered. Natalie sobbed, covering her face. I reached for his shoulder. I'm sorry, man. If there was any other way. He jerked away. Don't make this a damn movie moment. I let my hand drop. Jordan stood, dusting dirt off his jeans. He looked at the trees, then back at us. His eyes softened. Get the hell out of here. Don't stop for anything. Don't look back. I nodded. He gave Natalie a faint smile. Take care of yourself, kid. She tried to speak, but couldn't. And then, we left him. Natalie and I ran, the paper clutched tight in my fist, following the faint path we'd marked before. The woods seemed quieter now. No voices, no knocking, no crone. It should have made me feel better. It didn't. I kept expecting to hear a scream behind us, a sign that the forest had claimed Jordan. But there was nothing. Minutes blurred into hours. Finally, light ahead. We broke through the tree line into an open clearing where the tree cover ended. The sky overhead smeared with the purple of approaching dawn. I almost collapsed to my knees. We made it! I looked at the paper one last time. No more rules. Natalie clung to me, shaking. Is it over? She asked. I opened my mouth to answer. And then a voice came from behind us. Hey, guys! You left without me! I spun around. It was Jordan, standing just a few feet from the tree line. Same face, same clothes, same crooked grin. But his eyes, they weren't his. Pitch black, no whites, no pupils. Natalie screamed. I grabbed her arm and we bolted. But there's no running from it. His voice chased us. Rule number 10. You never leave the woods. We stumbled into a clearing and found ourselves back where we started. Same crooked trees, same patch of blood-stained dirt, same old paper nailed to a stump. The forest had never let us go. And now, part 5. The forest never lets you leave. Natalie's sobs hitched in her throat as she stared at the clearing around us. No, she whispered. This isn't real. We just left this place. We did. I didn't answer. Couldn't. Because deep down, I knew the truth. We never left. The forest had been toying with us, letting us think we'd escaped, giving us a taste of hope before dragging us right back. And now, Jordan stood at the edge of the clearing. Or rather, the thing wearing Jordan's face. His smile was too wide, too unnatural, stretching impossibly, his teeth too sharp in the dim light. "You were doing so good," it said, voice sticky sweet like rotten honey. "So close, but you broke a rule." I racked my brain. "We followed every one of them." Its grin widened. "You left the paper behind." My blood ran cold. Back when we bolted from the clearing, I dropped the rule sheet. In my panic, I never thought to grab it. Natalie let out a strangled sob. What happens now?" The thing, pretending to be Jordan, stepped forward. "The forest decides." I grabbed Natalie's hand. "Run!" We sprinted into the trees again, branches clawing at our skin, the air thick and suffocating. But no matter how fast we ran, the woods stretched on endlessly. Every path looked the same, every tree twisted in familiar, grotesque shapes. And worse, the voices came back. "Stay. Join us. Don't leave." Natalie tripped, and I pulled her up. "There!" I pointed to a faint glow ahead. A clearing. We broke into it, but it wasn't freedom. It was the same damned clearing. The paper was still nailed to the stump, now soaked dark with old blood. Natalie collapsed to her knees, sobbing. I turned, ready to fight whatever came, but it was already too late. Figures stepped out from the trees. Not just one, not just Jordan. One stays, one leaves. I felt my stomach lurch. Natalie clung to me, shaking her head. No, please don't." The creatures advanced, a circle around us. I squeezed her hand. "It's okay." "Don't you fucking say that," she screamed. I knew what I had to do. "Take me," I shouted into the dark. The figures paused. Natalie's scream was raw and desperate. "No!" I turned to her, forced a smile. "Only one of us makes it out. You're the better one. You always were." Before she could stop me, I shoved her backwards toward the tree line. The shadows swallowed me before I could see if she made it. Hands, dozens of them, cold, rough, pulling at my flesh, dragging me down. I didn't fight. As the darkness claimed me, one last thought hit. I hope she made it. Somewhere, days later, Natalie stumbled out of the forest, mud-streaked and half-mad. A passing truck driver spotted her and slammed on his brakes. She collapsed into his arms, sobbing uncontrollably. All she could say was, "Never break the rules. Never break the rules." And back in the forest, nailed to a blood-soaked stump, a new piece of paper appeared. Rule number 10. If the forest chooses you, you never leave. And beside it, another name written in dried blood. Ethan. "Oh, like this story?" Smash that subscribe button for more terrifying encounters. Comment below. Which rule would you have broken? And remember, never going to the woods alone at night. Subscribe button animation pops up.